Okay, part B, find all values in the open interval for which f has a critical point. So f has a critical point where f prime of x equals 0. So let's think about what's going on here. So f prime would be equal to g prime, right, minus the derivative, and minus because there's a minus sign in the original function, the derivative of cosine of x over 2. So the derivative of cosine is negative sine times the derivative of what was inside the trig function, so times 1/2. So subtracting a negative, same as adding positive. So we're trying to figure out where this equals 0. So let's see here. G prime, we're looking at the function g. The derivative of that would be the slope of the tangent line. So on this side, we've got a slope of 1. On this side, we've got a slope of what? Rise over run, negative 1/2. All right, so we've got two cases here. So they arrange it in the rubric as a piecewise function. I don't know that you necessarily have to arrange it as a piecewise function, but I would just set up two cases. I would say for negative 2 pi to 0, then g prime is 1. For 0 to 4 pi, g prime is equal to negative 1/2. So let's try to solve this here. Subtract the 1, and then we would multiply by 2. So that says the sine of x over 2 is equal to negative 2. Sine cannot equal negative 2. Sine can't be greater than or less than positive 1 or negative 1. So we don't get any answer out of that. Let's check out this other one. Add the 1/2, multiply by 2. So that gives us the sine of x over 2 is equal to 1. Well, sine is equal to 1 at pi over 2. But that's not it. That's equal to the angle. So we've got to multiply by 2. So that says at pi. But let's see here. There would be, so that's a critical point there that comes from the derivative equaling 0. But don't forget, we also get critical points where our function is undefined. So since we have a sharp point at 0, the derivative f prime of x does not exist. At x equals 0. So f of x has critical points at x equals 0 and pi. So you get 1 point for the derivative of the cosine of x over 2. You get 1 point for the g prime of x. You get 1 point for the x equals 0 answer, and you get 1 point for the pi answer. So a big chunk there. All right, last part, part C. Let h of x be defined as the integral from 0 to 3x of g of t. Find h prime of negative pi over 3. So we're taking the derivative here of this new function that they have defined for us. So h prime of x, we're taking the derivative of an antiderivative. So remember, they cancel out. Okay, but we have to plug in, I shouldn't have written of t, we have to plug in our upper limit is a variable, so we plug that in, and then we multiply by the derivative of that limit. So you get 2 points for that. I would assume 1 point for that part and 1 point for remembering to multiply by 3. Let's finish it. It wants it at negative pi over 3. So we plug that in. Guess what? The 3's cancel. So g of negative pi times 3. G of negative pi is going to come directly from our picture. So g of negative pi is going to be positive pi since that has a slope of 1. So 3 times pi is 3 pi.